This is Ray.
This is Andy.
This is FDS NFL.
How's it going, Ray?
Andy.
Yeah?
Wasn't a great week.
No, it wasn't a good week.
And I can't wait to talk some football this week.
Well, I can, but it's time to do it, so let's do it.
But before we do...
Exactly. This episode's brought to you by Moose Light. This
Moose
stuff's
Light.
scary good.
Scary good. And these cans are pretty cold from sitting down on this table.
Well, it's kind of cold down here in the studio, so all right. And if you need a shirt like this with logos or anything like that, go see our buddies the Doyles or visit their website, dci.com, Doyles Corporate Image. Just Google it.
DCI. The
There you
Doyles
go.
rule.
The Doyles rule.
Andy, we're going to get talking into some NFL this week. Of course, we got to recap our Browns and Bills. We're going to try to keep this as quick as possible this week.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start off with the Bills this week.
Sure.
All right. Bills were going against the Eagles in Buffalo. At the beginning of the year, when I did my predictions, I predicted the Bills to actually lose this game. Mm-hmm. This was one of the ones I had on the market for a loss. The Eagles have lost 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
They had a team meeting before this Bills game, a players-only team meeting to get this ship turned around as quick as possible. They had their 2 starting cornerbacks back in Darby and Mills. So I knew it was going to be a tough match for the Bills. First half went pretty good. The Eagles charged the field. The Bills held them to a field goal. Josh Allen responded with a touchdown. And then after that, the wheels kind of fell off.
Yeah.
We had a fumble. Yeah. We started the second half with a kick return for a touchdown, and the Bills just couldn't get back into this game. I come down, I've got a few things. Poor coaching, poor execution, and the Bills got beat in all 4 phases, offense, defense, special teams, and coaching.
Yeah. They
got beat in all 4 phases of the game. The positive news for the Bills, they own the 5th seed prior to this game, and they still own the 5th seed by 2.5 games.
Yep.
So it sucked that the Bills lost this game. I would have loved to see them compete with a contender in the NFL.
Yeah.
But we're still 5-2. We got the Redskins at home next. Things are still bright in the world of Buffalo.
I was at a cottage this weekend, but I made it back in time to catch the second quarter on, and I watched the entire game. And if I had to give you my thoughts in one statement, I would put it to you this way. The Bills were playing a really good game, and the Eagles basically ran the Bills' defense's confidence into the ground. And I mean quite literally ran it. And there was just
Jordan Howard.
That one long run, you could actually see full deflation of the Bills, and that was the end of it. And Josh Allen, Josh Allen tried to do what Josh Allen can do. He has to continue to develop to be able to do some of the more quarterback and less time-consuming things to really bring the Bills back in a game like that. Though, you know what? I mean, by the fourth quarter, the Bills were defeated in all 4 phases, like you mentioned.
Well, the problem is with this. In the 2 touchdowns that Josh put on the board, Josh was wheeling. He's outside the pocket. He's making plays downfield. He's running for yards. On the first touchdown, the first half, he come out of the pocket. He sprinted towards the line of scrimmage. The defensive back bit, and he hit Cole Beasley on the touchdown. Yeah. They come out in the fourth quarter. Josh Allen has the best quarterback stats in the fourth quarter in the NFL, and they come out and try to make him a pocket passer. Yeah. He's not a pocket passer. Right. Get him, put those plays in, get him out of the pocket, because every time he got out of the pocket, he was making plays downfield. Yeah. On that one design quarterback run, Josh fumbled the ball. I don't want to see those plays. I want to see him. Let's spread the wide receivers. Let's get guys going downfield. Get Josh out of the pocket. Let him make some plays with his legs and his arm. And this whole trying to develop him into a pocket passer, it's not working, Dable. You've got to get that out of the playbook.
Well, it has to happen eventually, but I hear you, Ray. And final comment before we move to the Browns is this. Twice late in that game when the Bills were still in it, I said to myself out loud, oh, now the Bills fans know how it feels. Because Sam Darnold did what Josh Allen does to other teams on third down. He ran for big-time first downs on third downs. He did it twice. Wentz, sorry, yeah. And that's how Josh Allen can make teams feel a little bit.
Absolutely.
They get them in the third down. So that's all I have there. Browns, okay. Browns go into Foxborough, play the Patriots, and they lose. There's no surprise there, and nor did the Browns fans or anybody really expect them to go in there and win. But again, it's how they went in there and lost, and it's the things that they did while they were there that were just unbelievable. Like to turn the ball over in 3 consecutive possessions. Listen, the Patriots are the best team in the league, Ray, but they're the luckiest team in the league too. Those are mutually exclusive. They do not need that luck to be that good. It comes down to coach and quarterback. But, for Nick Chubb to fumble his first carry because the left guard got blown up and drop kicked the ball out of his arm is, something that only happens for the Patriots. Baker Mayfield's one interception, they're calling it, this is a play. This shows how good Belichick is. So this play where Jarvis Landry sweeps across the front is a play that the Browns use. I'm not going to say every game, but it's a play that
jet sweep. Jet sweep.
Right, but it's an inside one. Yep. He comes across the front.
The front. So if he tosses the ball
forward. So he tosses it forward.
So if he drops it, it's incomplete.
Right. So Jarvis is coming across the front. Joel Bitonio, our left guard, gets absolutely blown up and falls backwards into Jarvis. The ball gets tossed out. Jarvis isn't there to get it. It goes right into a Patriots' hands. They're calling that an interception, which is fair. I wish Baker was able to think a little quicker, but at this point he's just looking at Jarvis and he doesn't actually realize that Jarvis isn't going to make it there. And then of course the Nick Chubb one, which is on Nick Chubb. They finally give the ball to Nick Chubb after passing the ball in the rain way too often, and he breaks like 10 tackles and he's on his way to a touchdown. He gets caught from behind. That's on him. And then there's a whole bunch of coaching things that we're going to talk about later. I'm going to wait for our WTF segment for us both to unleash on Freddie Kitchens. But bottom line is the Browns are 2-5. Mathematically, they're not eliminated from the playoffs, but here's how I feel about it. They can afford to lose one more game this season if that one loss is within the division. If they sweep their division, they can afford to lose 2 more games this season. They are 2-5, and the team that we're seeing out there right now, to think that they're going to lose less than 5 games for the rest of the season is insane. Yeah. So at this point, things have to turn around. I hope they continue to redefine rock bottom with crazier things. Browns go in and lose. No surprise. So anyway, we'll get into WTF later, and we'll talk about some of the fireworks that Freddie Kitchens gave us to talk about. What about game of the week?
Whoa! I haven't given my 2 cents.
I thought you did. Sorry. No. Go ahead.
Something happened this weekend, Andy.
Okay.
Something happened this weekend.
What was that?
I did something this weekend I haven't done since 2000.
It's taken a long time for you to deliver this. What is it?
It's big.
Okay.
This is big news, what I'm about to drop here.
Okay.
I think our whole conversations of Baker and Josh Allen over the last 2 years of who's a better quarterback and what's the terminology again? Franchise quarterback, hopeful franchise quarterback. We've gone back and forth on quarterbacks, Josh and Baker.
Well, you've gone back and forth on them.
Because I'm trying to convince you that Josh is a better quarterback than you give him credit for. And not just you, a lot of Browns fans. Because I'm in a couple Browns chat groups on Facebook, and I hear from Browns fans all day long.
So what happened for the first time since 2001?
I caught myself cheering for the New England Patriots in this freaking game.
Wow.
And I can't believe I was cheering for Tom Brady and the New England Patriots.
I can, and I knew you would be.
Hate the New England Patriots, Andy. I hate them.
I can, and I knew you would be. So the fact that you're bringing up this Baker and Josh Allen thing, here's what I'll say. When the Bills lost to the Patriots, you said at least 6 times on our podcast, repeated over and over again, Josh Allen had better stats than Tom Brady. Of all of the quarterbacks that faced the Patriots so far this season, including Ben Roethlisberger before he got hurt, Baker had by far the best game against the Patriots. So our back and forth, it's still a discussion, and I can't believe you're sitting next to me wearing that jersey right now. I cannot believe it.
The only thing Josh hasn't done that Baker did was Baker actually helped the Patriots score a touchdown by handing them the ball.
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, anyway, I cannot believe what I'm seeing right now. And all I'm going to say is if Facebook is unkind to you, Ray, and all the New England fans, or if they have a lot to say, you deserve all of it.
Listen, it was a 1 week thing. I got to sit in the front seat of Chris Wall's vehicle because I told him I may be cheering for the Patriots this week.
There we go.
There you go. This is a one-time thing.
And well, then I can't wait for Browns and Bills in 2 weeks.
I know.
Holy smokes, that's going to be pretty crazy. All right, our game of the week was Texans Raiders, and this was an important game.
Yeah. Listen, I thought this would be a good game, Andy.
It turned out to be a real good one.
It's the first game that we've picked
that was good.
That was a good game.
Yeah.
All right. Josh Jacobs was back for Oakland. Mm-hmm. He didn't have a spectacular day, but he put up 66 yards on the ground. And listen, Texans win this game 27-24. But
the big
story is what happened with Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt.
Yeah, so Deshaun Watson got dinged up. We don't really know what's going on there yet. I don't think it's season-ending serious or anything.
He was limited in practice, or he was limited in something today. They had something as a team today. He was limited.
I mean, there's there's 3 or 4 players on the Texans that they simply cannot afford to lose. Deshaun Watson, their new left tackle, Laramie Tunsil, DeAndre Hopkins, their receiver, and their best defensive player, J.J. Watt. Deshaun Watson's banged up, and J.J. Watt is out for the season again. So J.J. Watt goes down with an injury.
This is 3 seasons in a row.
I know, and it's cruel. And I think that's what he said in his Twitter post: is this game can be cruel and whatnot. He is done for the season. I'll tell you this: I think the Texans are potentially the division winners there, or at worst a wild card team. But the Houston Texans, ladies and gentlemen, and Deshaun Watson, they are. And I heard this on a podcast earlier, so I'm stealing. I already felt this, but I'm stealing the terminology from them. They are Patriots fodder. That's what they are. They'll make it to the playoffs. They might even win in the first round of the playoffs. But the moment this Texas team plays the Patriots, it's going to be embarrassing. And that's really all. That's all I can say about that one.
Okay.
All right, let's get into WTF, and I'll start it off here, Ray. So my WTF is going to be the Browns head coach, Freddie Kitchens. Now, you and a whole bunch of other people during the offseason where the hype was bugging the crap out of you. The hype got to you so much, you're wearing a Patriots jersey right now. The big question, the obvious question mark that everybody pointed to was first-time head coach Freddie Kitchens. Now, I still understand why they hired him, and I still actually believe that it was the right decision to be made at that time. However, as the season kept going, you kept asking me, do you still believe he can be a good head coach? Do you still believe he can be a good head coach? Your main worry at the beginning of the season, how will he manage these personalities? Well, he's managed the personalities fine. And it's only this week where they're actually starting to say, we're not really sure the game plan's working. Or maybe it's time to simplify things a little bit, especially when you're playing in a monsoon. Hello? But anyways, but I'm glad they're getting after him. But he handled the personalities fine. Here's what he's not handling: the job.
He's terrible.
So every week he gives us at least 3 or 4 things as a head coach: a decision, a challenge, 2 challenges this time, by the way, to just go, what are you doing? And I'm having flashbacks of Hugh Jackson, where on a weekly basis you think he's going to stop doing bonehead things. On a weekly basis, you think he's going to get it together. He's going to delegate. He's going to focus more of his time on being a head coach and not make stupid decisions. And I'm feeling exactly the same way about Freddie Kitchens.
In my opinion, he's worse than Hugh Jackson. The only difference between him and Hugh Jackson, He's got talent.
Way more talent.
And Hugh Jackson didn't have any talent.
That, you know what? I can't even, right now, I cannot argue with that. I can't argue with that at all. They're on the same realm, but you're right. The fact that he's only mustered 2 wins, one very impressive win, and one against a dead-in-the-water Jets team without Sam Darnold. The fact that he's only figured that out with this team, I've lost faith in his ability to be a head coach. All I can hope at this point, I don't look. You asked me the other. People are saying he might not make it through the season. Here's why I think he's safe and he's going to make it through the season. The Browns' ownership is very allergic to dysfunction at this point. They're tired of being thought of as the most dysfunctional franchise in the entire league, and they fired a head coach last year, halfway through the year. So nothing's going to solidify their dysfunction than doing it again.
Yeah.
So also, here's another thing they have working in their favor is that this coaching search was done by John Dorsey. John Dorsey is the one who recommended and made the final hire of Freddie Kitchens. So this is on the GM as much as anybody. Freddie Kitchens has a bunch of experienced coordinators working for him. They have the second largest coaching staff in the entire NFL. So if it's Freddie trying to do too much with the offense that he can't make decisions that have the most mediocre, knowledgeable football fans going, why would he do that? If he can't even do that, then all hope is lost at this point. So the players are starting to ask questions out loud. He's starting to take very difficult questions from the media. He's starting to get irritated. The Browns are 2-5. They're like a loss away from having nothing to lose, and then things will turn around. When they have nothing to lose, that talent's just going to go out there and play and probably win some games. Plus, they have a garbage schedule. Their schedule is so easy coming up. So we'll see. But I am Freddie Kitchens. I have lost all. You're a great dude. And you're way better to listen to than Hugh Jackson. But as a head coach, as a game planner, and as a decision maker, as a head coach, I have zero faith. I've lost it all. I've lost it all.
Baker has regressed under him.
Yep. It's all on him.
And OBJ, who was one of the league's premier wide receivers.
Yeah.
He's horrendous now.
Well, he's dropping
and even the passes that are hitting his hands, he can't catch.
Well,
and honestly, like the trade deadline just passed, Andy. We're going to talk about that in odds and ends. But I really thought OBJ's camp would be pushing for the Browns to get him out of there.
I don't think now that him and Jarvis are together that's even an option, and I don't think he's horrible. I think everybody on that team, including him, are just thinking too hard, thinking too much because the game plan, they're trying to be too cute. Just get back to the basics and let that talent go out there and play. We'll see what happens with it. But that said, you're right. This is 2 games in a row now where Baker needed a big third down catch, and he threw a perfect third down ball.
I saw it, yeah.
And OBJ has it bounce off the numbers. That can't happen. That cannot happen.
Can't happen. All right. My WTF is the fact that I'm wearing this jersey.
I almost changed mine on the fly. I can't even believe it.
My actual WTF this week is the Dolphins. Okay, today in the trade deadline, the Dolphins traded for Aqib Talib. Aqib Talib, veteran corner. And my biggest question with the Dolphins are, what are you doing? You're in a rebuild, Andy. They shipped off Fitzpatrick, who's a young corner already.
Yeah.
They ship him off to the Steelers for a draft pick. I thought that was an odd move because this kid's only been in the league. He's in his 3rd year in the league.
Yeah.
Right? No, 2nd year in the league. Second full year in the league because he was drafted at the time that Baker and Josh were drafted.
They don't want to have to pay him, I guess. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, but he had 3 years left on his rookie contract. But anyways, they got a 1st-round pick for him.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a great deal for the Steelers.
Well, it's not
because it's not. It's not going to be a good deal.
Yeah.
But that being said, they bring in this guy. There's salary involved with this.
Yeah.
But why would they bring this guy in? They're killing a veteran's year. Okay. Number 2 is they want to lose every game of the year. They don't want to have a veteran cornerback lined up back there. This doesn't go with their philosophy of the rebuild for 2020.
Yeah, it's hard to say what they're doing at this point. Obviously, there has to be some moving parts, salary cap wise, behind the scenes on this one. I don't know what they're doing. Nobody can understand what Miami's doing. They clearly do not want to win games because they had the opportunity to win a game last night, and clearly were making decisions revolving around not winning it.
Yeah,
I mean, it was amazing. So. Yeah, I have to agree with you. It's hard to understand what they're doing, but as a Bills fan, and any Patriots fans or Jets fans out there should be comforted by the fact that nothing the Miami's doing right now is going to mean anything but wins for you guys in the division. So
it's good news for the Bills. Good news for the Bills. Yeah. Let's get over to some odds and ends, Andy.
Yep.
We're going to talk about OBJ right off the bat because guess what?
What's that?
Tom Brady and his 9-year-old son waited for OBJ to come out after the game on the weekend because his 9-year-old son wanted to get the opportunity to meet OBJ.
Yes, and OBJ also was wearing some cleats that were dedicated to Tom Brady.
Yeah,
that he handed off at the end of the game.
Isn't that weird though that he wore cleats dedicated to Tom Brady in the game?
That's just how that's OBJ, man.
I know. I find that very weird.
Paying tribute to the greatest of all time.
I guess
you're wearing his jersey right now. You're doing the same thing, right?
I know. What I find weird about it is the fact that, they talked football a little bit.
Yeah.
OBJ talked about the fact he'd love to have played for Brady or gotten to play with him.
Yeah.
And with the trade deadline, I was waiting, and I knew the Patriots were looking for a corner. I was waiting for that deal to come. It didn't come.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's Tom Brady waited for OBJ. I bet he hasn't done that for many NFL pros in the past.
I doubt it.
Apparently, at the end of the conversation, OBJ asked the young kid, "Do you want to meet Baker Mayfield, or do you want to meet Baker?"
Yeah.
And you know what the young kid said?
No.
Baker who?
Yeah. I think you're making that last part up. So, anyways.
The NFL trade line just ended at 5 o'clock our time, which is about
34 minutes ago.
34 minutes ago, Andy.
Yep.
There was a lot of names that were on that list to be traded. Le'Veon Bell was one of those names.
Yeah.
And not a whole lot of action in the NFL trade deadline.
No, the teams that wanted to make big trades, like Trent Williams, Redskins finally said near the end of the trade deadline that they're willing to move him, but they wanted way too much for a left tackle of his age and a guy that hasn't been playing.
It's not a first rounder.
Yeah, but they wanted a first rounder.
They wanted a first rounder.
And, he's good player, but he hasn't played all year, and he's aging, and you would have to give him another deal if you brought him in. So, and that's kind of the basis for why all of these have fallen through. So, yeah.
Andy Dalton has been benched by the Bengals. Yeah. Now, this is a real interesting story here because they're going to go with their young quarterback, Ryan Finley.
Yeah.
This tells me a message that Andy Dalton is done in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, I'm actually shocked that teams like Chicago, maybe the Chargers, I'm surprised that Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm surprised that some team didn't try to swing a deal today for Dalton. You probably could have got him for a fourth and a fifth, maybe a third. I'm shocked that Andy Dalton is sitting on the Bengals roster here at 5:35 on this Tuesday.
Well, I'll tell you why I'm not. The salary is high. The quarterback is the most important position in North American sports. You don't just show up and play the next week.
Right.
So though he would be an upgrade for some teams, it's a really high salary to get a guy that you're going to have to, integrate into your offense over several weeks. Chicago, I totally get it, man, but they cannot give up on Mitch Trubisky. You cannot give up on a pick like that early. Nagy's taking the heat because, Mitch is not. He's not progressing really at all.
And that's what Nagy was known for.
And similar to what you're hollering at the Bills about in terms of like them trying to get him, from time to time in the game to not do the Josh Allen thing and be a pocket passer. Nagy and them are also trying from time to time to get Mitch Trubisky to develop during games, and it's imploding.
Right.
And he's taking the heat too, but you just can't do it. But Andy Dalton's not bad by any stretch. Some would say Andy Dalton's better than Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco was given an opportunity this season. Andy Dalton will be playing football.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. I was going to ask you that next, if he would catch on with another team. Oh,
yes, he will.
100% he will.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any chance that the Bengals waive Andy Dalton, even though the trade deadline's passed? Do you think they cut him at this point where he could clear waivers and get signed by a team?
I don't think so. I don't. I think he's meant so much to that franchise, whether they've shown the appreciation or not. He's been with them for so long. They've got a young rookie quarterback about to start. They need somebody there in his ear to kind of help him out. I don't think that they would do that to him.
Okay.
And some breaking news, just kind of, well, it's not really breaking news, but somebody we were just talking about, Trent Williams, now that the trade deadline is passed, is reporting to the Redskins and is ready to practice and start to play. So,
okay, there you go.
There we go.
All right, my last story here for tonight is we're mid-season. We've already seen Coach Gruden from Washington get fired mid-season.
Yeah.
So I got some coaches on the hot seat here.
Yes.
I want to rank these guys as far as most likely to get fired during this season.
During the season? Okay.
We'll start there. So the first coach I got is Cincinnati, Zach Taylor.
Yep.
New York Jets, Adam Gase. Denver, Vic Fangio.
Yep.
Cleveland, Kitchens.
Yep.
Chargers, Anthony Lynn. Atlanta, Dan Quinn.
This is a lot.
Giants, Pat Schumer. And Chicago, Matt Nagy. Out of those guys, which guy do you think is most likely to get fired first in season?
Wow, that's tough. I mean, Anthony Lynn, I'm going to go directly to the guys that have been around more than a year. Okay, so right off the bat, I don't think Zach Taylor, I don't think Fangio, I don't think Freddie Kitchens. Well, you've already heard my thoughts on Freddie Kitchens. I'm looking to guys that have been around for more than a year that are obviously underperforming big time, that have shown that they can do more. So right off the bat, Anthony Lynn, the Chargers season has been a bit of a disaster. They pulled out a win, but they only pulled out a win against Chicago because of their kicking situation.
Exactly.
Yet again, Anthony Lynn's the guy that jumps out at me. I really don't think Matt Nagy is there just yet because at the end of the day, Matt Nagy can't kick the ball. And let's be honest, if you fix the kicking situation for the last 2 years in Chicago and Mitch Trubisky just stayed Mitch Trubisky, Matt Nagy's not nearly as much hot water as he is already.
Yeah.
I mean, their kicking situation is just killing them. Pat Shermer, the New York Giants traded away OBJ. They benched Eli Manning. They brought in a brand new rookie quarterback. So I think the timer is reset a little bit on Pat Shermer now that he's being asked to groom a young team. I got to go Anthony Lynn, I guess, in the or the Quinn from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Those are the two guys I think that would be the most likely not to make it through the season, though I think it's very unlikely anybody gets fired midway, but it could happen.
Rex Ryan has come out and pretty much doubled down that Kitchens will get fired this season. I have Kitchens in this season and Dan Quinn. Those are my two guys.
Yeah.
And I also agree about Anthony Lynn, although the Chargers could turn it around in the second half of the season. They've got a lot of talent there. Keenan Allen's not 100% healthy, which is having an impact on him, Andy.
Yeah.
But right now, my bet goes on Atlanta and Cleveland.
Yeah, let me double click on Kitchens for a second. So you've already heard why I don't think I understand why he's in the discussion.
Yeah. And
the main reason why I don't think it happens is because of ownership's not wanting to do that for 2 seasons in a row. But I totally understand why he's on that list. And he's actually kind of a decent candidate to be fired midway season because they actually have 3 head coach quality coordinators and assistant coaches underneath him that could take over like last year. It's just the ownership and the fact that I can't see them doing that 2 years in a row. That's the only reason why I don't put Freddie on the list.
We didn't talk about it earlier, but if he makes another one of those decisions on 4th and 10 to bring out the punting team, take the false start, and then bring out the offense, If he makes another one of those decisions this year, he's gone.
I'll give you the scenario that he gets fired that I actually will. I'll go ahead and predict if this happens for you, he'll get fired. So the last 4 head coaches, I think, in a row that have been fired have all been fired on the plane ride home from a loss in Pittsburgh. Okay? Here's the Browns' schedule coming up. They got Denver. Joe Flacco's out. So they're going to be playing Denver with their rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
If they lose that game, and then the Bills roll into town, if they lose at home to the Bills, the game after that is on the road in Pittsburgh. If they lose to Broncos, then lose to Bills, then go on the road to Pittsburgh and figure out a way to lose to that Pittsburgh's team, the plane ride home, I cannot see Freddie Kitchens surviving it.
Yeah.
So there's your scenario. Yeah.
All right, let's do some overreaction, Andy.
Okay, I'm going to read 2 things to you that I heard on multiple podcasts that I listened to today. And I'm reading them to you because I heard them and I actually think these are an overreaction, but there's a lot of people saying that they're not. The first one has to do with your Bills. The second one has to do with the 49ers.
Yep.
The Bills have only played 2 good teams this entire season, and they lost to both. The Bills are not as good as we think they are. They're a product of their schedule. That's the first one. The second one, San Francisco hasn't played a lot of good teams, but they finally played 2 really good teams and beat the tar out of them. San Francisco is potentially the best team in the league right now. What do you think of either of those?
I agree with the 49ers 100%.
Okay.
The Bills, that argument can definitely be used. But you know what? In the NFL, only one thing counts.
Wins
and that's W's.
Yep.
Bills are 5-2. They're 5th seed overall in the playoffs. That's all that matters.
Yeah, you can only beat who you're playing, and they've got a great schedule coming up.
They got a great schedule for the rest of the year. And a lot of people that picked them to go 6-10, 7-9. Those predictions are out the window. This Bills team is going to come in at least 9-7 this year. I
think they're going to need 10-6 for a wild card, and at this point, that looks pretty good.
It looks really good.
Yeah,
it looks really good.
All right, what are your overreactions?
Teddy Bridgewater is pissed with the way the Saints welcome back Drew Brees.
I don't think so. I haven't heard anything like that. I think Teddy's being groomed to be the future. I think, for them. He's gotten the opportunity to keep them afloat and do his job and what they paid him for.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like when you've got a Hall of Famer, like the all-time whatever leader and everything that Drew Brees is and everything he means to that city and team and everything he's done for that city and team, you know your role and you shut the hell up, like our buddy The Rock would say.
Listen, I'm joking when I come up with this. I just wanted to do it for some Saints talk and some fun discussion. Listen, if you watch the sideline in this game, every time Brees came off, they're high-fiving, they were hugging, they were bumping fists.
Yeah.
Drew Brees has got to be easily the best teammate ever of any sport.
Oh, yeah.
He is, Drew Brees is a true 100% leader. He loves the game, and even at the age of 41 or whatever he is, trust me, Teddy Bridgewater is in great hands because he is learning from the best. And when Drew Brees hangs it up, this is Teddy Bridgewater's team.
Yep.
100%.
Yep. All right.
Fantasy football.
So fantasy. Whew. All right. So I actually had a decent week. I lost in the RBC. I'm a lost cause in that RBC league at this point. So I got hammered in that. However, I won in every single other league, including Jamie Drysdale's Dynasty League. I had a really good week there, and I scored upwards of 140, 150 points. The guy I was playing had a bunch of guys playing on Monday night, and he got within 10, I believe, but ultimately I'm now 3-5 there after being, I think, my goodness, I think it was 0-4 at one point.
Yeah.
So I'm moving along. But here are the things, and then in all my Yahoo leagues I won. But here are the things I wanted to point out. Gardner Minshew, I played in multiple leagues this week. Benched Baker and played Gardner Minshew and Minshew Magic. Listen, Winshew. Gardner Minshew.
I know, he's great.
He's been wonderful. He's scoring over 20 fantasy points for me. I've been playing him. It's wonderful. In one of my leagues where I was desperate, I started Ryan Tannehill. Wonderful. Had a wonderful fantasy game for me. And I can't think of the Titans' backup tight end. But I had their, I think, not Jared Cook, but what's his name? Anyways, the Titans' main tight end was
Delaney Walker.
Delaney Walker was banged up. Their backup tight end was getting an opportunity, and I was desperate. And he was like the only option on waivers. I picked him up. Ryan Tannehill targeted him like 11 times. He had a big fantasy game, and that was a big reason why I've got my big Dynasty League win. So those are the things I wanted to shout out this week in terms of fantasy. Gardner Minshew, not Baker Mayfield, is not just a spot start this week, but until he falls off a cliff, Gardner Minshew is my quarterback.
He's a must-start.
He's my quarterback.
Must start.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I 2 leagues, as you know, in the red zone league, I lost this week to a big matchup, Ian Nicholson. I lost by minimal points, and I made a big gutsy decision. Okay. I decided I was going to start Kirk Cousins over my Josh Allen.
Okay.
Huge mistake. I mean, the Vikings, they were in a great position to put up a lot of points this week, and they didn't. And then I started Sammy Watkins over Keenan Allen. The difference of 3.5 points, and those 2 decisions made me lose in that league this week.
Gotcha.
But over in our RBC league, I killed it. 141 to 114. I was predicted to lose this game, and I'm now 5-3, and playoffs are right around the corner for me.
Awesome.
I don't know, how does playoffs work in this? There's 14 teams. We're all in one conference. It's not like there's multiple conferences. How many teams make the playoffs in this league?
My guess is 6.
6?
6.
Okay,
the top.
I'm tied for 4th right now. So
okay. Yeah. All right.
All right. Let's pick some games.
Do the picks. All right. So I'll give you mine first. This first pick is just out of like sheer it has to happen or everything's imploding. Browns over Broncos. There's no Joe Flacco starting. Bills over Redskins is just a no-brainer, especially where it's in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I'm going Seahawks over Bucks. I'm going Packers over Chargers, and I'm picking the Lions to upset the Raiders on the road.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've got the Bills over the Redskins. A lot of ours are the same. I'm taking the 49ers over the Cardinals.
Yep.
I'm taking the Packers over the Chargers. Mm-hmm. I'm taking the Seahawks against the Bucks. And now I'm coming with my upset. I got 2 potential upsets.
Do you want me to give you the standings before you choose?
Okay.
All right. So
it's not really going to matter, but go ahead.
So last week I went 3-2, and I missed my upset, so that takes me to 29-11.
Okay.
You went 4-1. You had a nice week, though you did miss your upset as well. Okay. So you're 28-12. You're only behind me by 1 game, and our buddy Cameron, who posts his picks, went 3-2 as well and missed his upset. So you're only behind me by a game. But I'm way ahead in the tie break, so you have to choose your upsets wisely.
Patriots have not had... They've not played a lot of great teams.
No, they haven't.
And if there's a team that I think that could beat them this week, it's the Baltimore Ravens at home.
Oh, boy. We will never hear the end of that if the Ravens beat the Patriots.
Did you see all the tweets from our buddy Scott Chisholm on our private direct messages?
I did not see those. No.
Okay.
What's he going on? Oh, I'm sure
it's very.
He literally
he's bashing Cleveland.
He literally says the same.
Him.
Yeah, he says the same thing.
I doubt he's sitting wearing a Tom Brady jersey, but he was bashing Cleveland.
Scott says the same thing over and over again, and everything he says is always laced with hindsight and revisionist. So I didn't see it. I'll take a look later, but we will definitely not hear the end of it if. I
have to put this back on because this pick proves that this 1 week is over.
Yeah.
And that is, I'm taking the Ravens over Tom Brady and the Patriots. And I will never, I hope never, be put in a position where I have to cheer for freaking Tom Brady again, Andy.
Yeah, well, there you go. The only thing you have to worry about now is the fact that there's literally hundreds, if not thousands of potential screenshots that people can take of this video.
Oh, I know.
Of you wearing that jersey.
There's already one surfacing with Chris Wall from Sunday night.
There it is. All right, that's the show for this week, folks. If you're watching on YouTube, click subscribe and like and comment and all that stuff, or dislike or whatever you got to do. And if you're listening to us on your podcast app, leave us a rating, please.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Go Bills. Go Ravens.
And go Browns, I guess, though Ray is cheering against them.